Hey guys, this is Wufoo. In this video I'm going to cover a simple macro guide. I'm essentially going to go over the bread and butter of macros. The macros that I use I think will make you a better player when it comes to either healing in your 3v3 arena team or healing RBGs. Now something that I like to do is I like to use both action bars on the Blizzard interface. I use the first action bar for RBGs and everyday stuff, and I use the second one for arenas, and I'll explain why in a second. A really simple way to think of the macros I'll show you is macro 1 is cast on target, and macro 2 is cast on teammates, so you know which one's for arena, which one's for everyday and RBG. The following are the spells that I use these macros for. I'm going to show you a basic example of how these macros work, one for the teammate and one for the target respectively. It's because these cover so many spells that I like to use both of Blizzard's UI bars. Let's get started with macro 1. These macros are example of modifier macros. In this particular example I've used Renewing Mist. I've set this up for either myself or the target. I've set Alt as my modifier. What this means is if I press the button that Renewing Mist is bound to, then it would just cast it on myself. If I press Alt and the button, it casts on my target. Here's a quick example using Surging Mist. So first I'm going to cast Surging Mist on myself just by pressing 2, which is what it's bound to. As soon as I press Alt and 2, it switches to my target, which is the Shaman, right away. The second macro involves two modifiers, Control and Alt. It works the same way, but it only works on party members. It doesn't work on targets even if that target is a party member. This is why I like to use this macro only in arenas and switch up the Blizzard UI. So this is how it works. If I don't press any modifier, I'll cast Renewing Mist on myself. If I press Alt, it'll target my first party member. If I press Control, it'll target the second party member and cast Renewing Mist. You can practice for this in dungeons if you don't want to try going straight into arena with this. I recommend getting an add-on called Grid in Threes games that allows me to see where my heals will go. It allows me to see that Alt will always heal one target and Control will heal the other, and it's always set up that way. And Grid does this automatically. The advantage of using target player macros is that it just essentially streamlines healing. You don't need to have your teammate target, you can target the enemy players, and you can quickly relieve pressure from your teammates with defensive cooldowns like Ring of Peace and Life Cocoon. So first things first, I want to make sure that I'm using the second Blizzard UI where all my arena and party macros are. So when I press Alt and Renewing Mist, it'll go onto the DK, which is the first party member. And when I press Control and Renewing Mist, it'll go to the third party member, which in this case is the Warrior. Remember that I'm the player on top in Grid always, and I have to press no modifiers to get any healing spells or any of the other spells I mentioned above onto me. Doing this at 5-mans isn't ideal, but I'm pretty sure if you're fully PvP gear that you can keep up a whole 5-man heroic team no problem using this, and it's a great way to practice your macros as well. Here's a quick tip: if you're doing 2v2 and you're using the same macros I've posted, if you press Alt, that would cover your teammate, so you don't need to worry about Control. You only need to worry about Control if you're running threes. Here's the rest of the arena clip. I hope you enjoy, like, comment, and subscribe.
That shaman's getting fucked up just by our